Now we'll start with a welcoming remark from His Excellency Dr. Robin Perera, the Ambassador and Permanent Representative for Sri Lanka to the United Nations. The floor is yours, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Honorable Speakers, Deputy Speakers, Honorable Vijay Rajapaksa, Minister of Justice of Sri Lanka, distinguished permanent representatives, my colleague, Ambassador of Benin, representatives of the Interparliamentary Coalition of Global Ethics, co-sponsors including the UNESCO office in New York, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Permanent Mission of Sri Lanka, it gives me great pleasure to be, as a co-sponsor of this event, to extend a very warm welcome to this distinguished gathering and all the participants here today, and also to wish the deliberations on the role of parliamentarians on implementing the United Nations resolution on a culture of peace, all success by way of achieving the objectives that are before you. The phenomenon of violent extremism, with its linkages to terrorism, as we are all aware, is spreading with alarming speed across the global order. Its cross-frontier character demands a collective global response. No state could effectively combat it acting alone. Hence, the topic of terrorism and violent extremism is high on the United Nations agenda, and in our deliberations on this issue, the need for collective measures to deal with the twin phenomenon is constantly being emphasized. The current efforts to devise and implement a culture of peace are an important plank in addressing the unprecedented rise of violent extremism. The United Nations Global Strategy to Combat Terrorism, Working Plan to Combat Violent Extremism, and the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development Goals, in particular, Goal 16 on the rule of law, inter alia, provide the overall framework for these deliberations. The special focus of this meeting is the role of parliamentarians for promoting education for the culture of peace and implementing the SDGs. The three panels that have been constituted for this evening will address key aspects of this theme. In our own reconciliation and peace-building efforts and promoting a culture of peace in Sri Lanka, we have paid special emphasis on sensitizing the youth and children on the inherent values of a culture of peace, including the value of empathy, inclusion, compassion, and respecting the richness of diversity, as in a multi-racial, multi-ethnic, multi-religious country like Sri Lanka, as critical ingredients of our reconciliation efforts. Education sector reform, with emphasis on a value-based education, is very much part of Sri Lanka's ongoing reconciliation and peace-building efforts. These aspects, of course, will no doubt be further elaborated by Honorable Dr. Vijay Rajapaksa, Minister of Higher Education and Cultural Affairs, in the course of our deliberation this afternoon when he makes his keynote address. The importance of the Summit of Parliamentarians is that parliamentarians, in their role as legislators, would strengthen at the national level the collective efforts that are being taken at the United Nations by providing the necessary legislative framework that may be required, and inject the requisite political will that would make the culture of peace a reality. In conclusion, once again, I wish fruitful deliberations that will contribute meaningfully to the efforts of the United Nations on ushering in a culture of peace. I thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Ambassador, and thank you for, again, co-hosting this event. I know the parliamentarians will be definitely having a big role to achieving the culture of peace.